those hogs saw the sun. They had so much vitamin D storage in their meat and in their fats. They were fantastic. Hi guys, this is Elizabeth Kwong from Mangetti Grove, and we are Homesteading for Health is our channel name now. So we decided we're going to go ahead and do a question and answer part to our hog butchering video. We'll link a video to both our hog butchering video that has all of the parts in it, the whole thing, and we'll also link a video to the edited version, which we take out some of the other parts so that it can be monetized, basically, because they took monetization, the ability for it to be monetized, off of that one video. But yeah, but there were some good questions that came about from that video, and I thought that it would be easier to just address them with a video.
The questions.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So do you have them written on a sheet of paper in front of us somewhere?
They're on a sheet of paper on the floor.
Oh, yeah. First one I can field. This has to do with the firearm that was used. So what was the gun that was used? Now, there's also, related to that question, safety concerns. And I can see why. And I tried to address it in the video editing as well, saying...
Except for the gun part.
Whoops. Yeah. But, yeah, there was definitely some firearm and gun safety etiquette that did not get followed very well, and that has been discussed. So, yes, there was definitely some muzzle action that should not have happened that was pointing right at me. Not awesome. And we will not do that again, that's for sure. So, thank you everybody for commenting on that and making sure that it is addressed.
Yeah, it is important.
Because that is a very
important thing.
It's not something to take lightly.
People die.
So as for what the gun was, it was just a .22 long rifle. I researched that morning as to what I should use, and I just found way too many people that just use .22, the .22 long rifle, and I just felt like, okay, if that many people are using this, and it's what we'd used before, but I just thought maybe I need something bigger. I don't know if that would do a cleaner job, and I just found way too many people that were saying we've consistently used a .22. Even in a video that I'd watched from Justin Rhodes that morning on processing a pig, it was a .22. It's more about the placement, and I actually did a cow, a steer that we processed later on, and I used a larger round for it, and that proved to me that placement was key over the caliber of the round. So it did not go well. It was it missed by a quarter to a half of an inch off from where it should have been, and it did not kill the animal right away.
He had to shoot it twice. Second shot was down.
But it was with a pistol, and you can't keep your muzzle exactly where you want it. The thing about with a .22 on a rifle gun is you can put the round right where you want it, and we feel very confident in every one of the shots that was taken on those that it killed the animal right away. There's a lot of people that are saying, hey, it didn't kill them, this is inhumane, all of these sorts of things. But that's not the scenario. I'm willing to still investigate a different round if there is a better way. The only other gun that I had was it was a 450 Bushmaster, which is essentially a 20 gauge slug, and I just felt like that was going to be way too much gun for it, so that's why we landed on the .22.
Yeah, and a lot of people were saying this was a clean kill. That is, I mean, that pig will be going like this for a while, just like my chicken butchering videos. The chicken is flapping around, the head is completely severed. It's the body's electrical pulse. There was one comment also that said, oh, you know, the blood is coming out, the heart is still pumping. I have taken a heart out of a chicken on video, and the heart is pumping still. Like, I'm not saying that happens each and every time, but the heart can still pump. So I want to back up to the very first, the first point that I was going to make is we did not separate the pigs. It is important that we don't separate them because pigs are herd animals. And when you try to confine and separate a herd animal, there will be hormones, stress hormones, going through its body, and it will affect the taste of the meat even. So you could see that the pigs started going to investigate the other pigs, but in general, those pigs were very calm from what was going on. We've seen pigs that are stressed out. That is totally not. They were not stressed out. They went and even tried to drink some of the pig's blood.
Yeah, the first time that we did this, we separated them, not necessarily like pulled them all apart, but we had them just kind of out moving around, and they were separated from each other, or they weren't all together necessarily, but they once they had the ability, when you pulled one apart, they started to understand that something was wrong, and they'd start freaking out a little bit more. And then if we gave them room, then they would take off running, and then it just turned into their bodies are getting overworked, and they're building up lactic acid and all of this other stuff. And it was terrible. But I actually thought that this was a really, really well executed
it was done
slaughter. Well. They weren't stressed at all. Why?
Okay, so why I wanted to include the blood. So
because there was a lot of blood.
Yeah, I showed a lot of blood pouring out of the neck. This was important because one of the so when you're first learning how to butcher a pig or anything, I mean, chickens. I looked up a lot of chicken butchering videos. I wanted to see everything. I want to see, the hog butchering videos, and and I've taken what I want from the videos of the chicken butchering, and I've manipulated it to how I feel good about processing a chicken. But this, the pig video, we have not. The reason why we want to video these things is that we have not learned from our parents how to process animals. This was like, back in the day, this was like every 2-3 days, people went out and hunted, and they processed the meat, and they ate the meat, they preserved some meat. Like, it was a very, very, very normal thing. And now it's not. So it's scary at first. At first it's scary, and you're like, I don't know exactly what to expect. Especially, I added all the blood because I wanted to show people how much blood is flowing. Because if they try to slit the throat and they don't see that blood pouring, gushing out, then they haven't gone deep enough.
Yeah, I think the first time I did it, it was on, they were pot bellies, and they had a lot more blubber around them, and it was harder to get into the artery. I think we ended up getting it, but right away, like, it was just really hard to tell if I'd hit the artery or not. And I think when I saw it in the video that we did, or when I saw it in real life when we were recording, I thought, oh, that is definitely bleeding out. Like, you could just tell it was going out, and it makes you more confident in knowing what you're seeing, especially if you're a first timer. So we just felt like that was a really important step to include.
Yeah, and that it wasn't to be gruesome. It was to be informative.
The next, maybe kind of gruesome, I'll skip one of the questions there, is in the background. We've gotten a lot of comments about children in the background making light of the situation. And yeah, it wasn't good. And we addressed it with them and their children. I think you've got to keep that in mind to a certain extent, that, yeah, we try to teach them these things all the time, to have respect for their animals. But their
Darian's
children,
actually one of the sweetest with the animals.
He's very compassionate with them, but he was charged by cousins that were also there, and there's just a lot of stuff going on. So it was something that we're not proud of, and how they were responding, and we want to make sure that they don't continue to do that. We're teaching them as much as we can, but we do think that it was important for them to be there,
Yeah.
to see it, and to know that this is something
Not
that
get
we
hit
do.
by a stray bullet, but yeah.
Yeah, that would be a plus. But to make sure that they're part of the process and that they're not, that it's not something that is grossing them out, but it's also not, like, we don't want it to be something that's fun to them, like an entertainment piece. This is more educational for them. It is fun for them to learn things and to understand how bodies work and all of this type of stuff. We like to have him around. He actually helps us cut up. The scalding was something that I was just, I absolutely hate feathering a chicken, defeathering a chicken.
How many times have you done one?
Never. Because I don't even want to watch it get done because it's such a mess.
Oh yeah, we never did that. When you helped me the first time.
And all of this is
we
because I
skinned
don't
it.
really appreciate, or I don't really enjoy that much more, a roasted bird. So like the process of going through all of the defeathering, not even close to worth it to me. So I've got that same thing going in my head as to, we're really going to scald this pig.
So have you ever tasted chicharrones?
I have not, apparently.
He's never tasted fresh chicharrones. I mean, in California, you can just go to a Mexican shop and go get chicharrones. Fresh chicharrones.
Anyway.
I even ate one.
So
and
I
there
took
was a
that into
hair
account.
on it, and I had to
I took that into account, thinking, okay, maybe this is something that would be really, really good, or my wife will appreciate it a lot, and we'll try it out. I'm willing to try. Obviously, I'm willing to try anything. More times than I probably should.
So I would like to scald a pig again.
So we
someday.
scalded it, and it didn't go very well. I think the setup was okay.
It wasn't hot. It wasn't hot. We didn't dip it long enough.
The setup was okay. I think, yeah, we just, again,
And
we
the
didn't
butt
watch,
didn't fit.
we didn't watch anybody do this particular
did.
step.
I did.
Not, yeah, okay, you did maybe. But I think, like, it just takes back to another point we were going to make. We're all learning, and this is a process where you've got to do it, and you've got to do it a couple times, and it's got to be a natural, or it's got to be like something, a repetitive thing that you've done. So we didn't do that great. Go ahead.
This next time, I guess I don't have to interrupt, but this next time would be nice to do one at a time and actually scald the pig at least one time.
The problem is it's a big process to get it set up. All the water, the scalding, getting it. Yeah, that took the longest to get established because we had the pot there. We had to get it burning. And, like, yeah, you could definitely set it up in a way that would be more reproducible and it would be kind of turnkey. But the way that was, it was kind of a once and done thing that, yeah, it wasn't going to work very well for more than one animal. It didn't even work that well for one animal. If we would have left it in longer, though, it probably would have been fine.
I'm just thinking now about the toxicity of the barrel. I wonder if the barrel is very toxic.
I don't think so. It was all just bare steel inside.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, would there be anything different that we would do? I think it went pretty smoothly.
Yeah, we wanted to document it like this because we also wanted it to be something that we could look back on and think, okay, what didn't go well? How do we want to change this up a little bit more?
And
so it was just as much for us as it was for other people.
Yeah, and also I also wanted to record this because I want people to feel like, okay, I can do this. They're doing it. We haven't done it. We've done it we did it 2 other times, a few other pigs. So we did 5 pigs beforehand. And
again, it's totally something that anybody could do. Obviously, it requires something to be able to pick the animal up. Whether you have a hoist,
some people don't pick the animal up.
Maybe you don't have to, I guess. It makes it a lot nicer in order to dress it out. But
people use tarps and stuff, and so you can do it without hoisting it up, which actually might be a good tutorial to someone, but I think that you could bleed it out better if it was up.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
like a hoist. Like you were saying, like you could do a hoist.
yeah, like you can get, I don't know that one for a deer would work very well, like hooking it to the back of your pickup, and they have the winches that you could lift the thing up, just because that pig was so heavy. But I suppose you could probably get something that would hold it. But I don't know. The pigs weighed, what do we think, like 350 each?
I'm not sure. They were larger
I
than
think
the normal 250. 250 is the kind of the normal butcher weight for a pig, but we let them grow out a
I
little
think
bit
I
more.
remember we were estimating based off of the meat that we harvested and what I weighed out the rest of the entrails and skin and bones and all of that stuff. I think we pinned them all at about 300 or maybe
Oh yeah, and I
350.
kept the intestine and I washed out the intestine. I don't think I videoed any of that.
Oh,
And I scraped it out. I'm like, it wasn't as actually laborious as it looks like on the videos. Like it wasn't that tedious.
did you actually use it for sausage?
Yeah, I did. I did, but the sausage, I think I let it warm up. I hate handling cold meat. Like cold meat is really, I hate it on my fingers. It just locks them up and stuff. So I didn't leave it very cold. I kind of let it warm up, and then I did this. But that separates the meat, the protein from the fat, and it makes it grainier in texture. So you really want, when you're doing sausages, you want that meat to be almost frozen while it's going through the processing. So that's something that I've learned, and I'd like to revisit because we love bratwursts. I want to learn how to make a good bratwurst.
But in reality, would
you don't have the passion to try to.
do you think you would
figure it
do
out.
that? Do you think you would do that again versus just going and getting more intestine from the store?
I don't know. I've still got so much intestine still left from the store to use up.
So there's a balance that we're trying to figure out, like what is realistic and able to be done energy wise.
Yeah,
But
because it was like $15.99 a pound from the store, and a pound of intestine's a lot of intestine.
so there's some
A
things that's
lot.
like it's that you weigh it out, like okay, this is for this amount of money we could get it and already be done versus spending however much time, like
And we know that
2 hours or
those
whatever.
pigs. Oh, this is another one that's huge, and I wish that maybe this was in the beginning. Maybe I'll put a snippet in the beginning. That hog saw the sun. It was not in confinement. Those hogs saw the sun. They had so much vitamin D storage in their meat and in their fat. They were fantastic supplements to our body during the winter. That lard, I saved it all, and I made, I got that lard all rendered down. Very easy to render lard.
We were able to use that when we went off of butter for a while for
Yeah.
Nayeli. We had lard
Yep.
like crazy for
Yes.
everything. We cooked our pancakes in it.
1 tablespoon of lard contains 1,000 IUs or UIs, or I forget what it's called, but 1,000. That's like a supplement. That's like a supplement, and that's a major thing that we're lacking in the American diet is we don't eat animal fat anymore, and all of our animals are confined under buildings that don't see the sun. And the longevity of the animal, they don't care about the longevity of the animal. You know, a vitamin D deficient animal is not going to live very long because there's lots of, I got to do a whole video on vitamin D because there's lots of things in our body that work well and good and function because of vitamin D and repair. So that was a major thing. I don't think there's anything else. If you have more questions or comments, yes, the hog was dead when it got shot. And when the throat was slit, like it was pouring out blood, it was dead. That was the major one that most people were like, yeah, was the hog dead? You know, so.
That and the gun.
Yeah.
And the children. Those
Yeah.
3 were the major ones that were.
Yep, our bad.
So, anyway. Thanks for watching. We hope that you guys are able to learn from this just like we were from somebody else who went before us. So, we're just trying to show you what we do. It's not perfect, but it's
we're sharing our life
yeah.
of homesteading.
So enjoy. Thanks.